Theresa May recently gave an interview to the BBC. It's scheduled to, the full thing is scheduled to air tomorrow on Panorama, that's the 17th of September. But we got a few snippets of it this morning and I want to touch on a couple of them. So first and foremost, and what stood out the most, Theresa May is getting a little bit annoyed that people keep questioning her ability to lead. Really? You're annoyed that people are calling you out for the atrocious job you're doing? Over 4 million children live in poverty now because of you. You took away school meals for over 60,000 children. During the summer, children had to go to food banks just so that they have something to eat. The average house is worse off by £49. And that's not just worse off than having a few million. That's £49 a week short of providing basic lifestyles. Everything that Theresa May has done has been a monumental disgrace. And over the last 2 years, her main focus has been to make her husband more money, sometimes using the thinly veiled guise of protecting human rights, and that's why she bombed Syria. Realistically, she put her hand in that so that British forces and American forces would use her husband's company, making sure that Philip Hammond made at least 4 million before breakfast. But then we go into everything else that she's done, and it is an absolute disgrace. Only looking out for the wealthiest in the country. And this is a time during Brexit. Regardless of where you stand on this, you must appreciate that it is an incredibly difficult job. And what has she done? For the last 2 years, she's done absolutely nothing. And only in the last handful of months has she bothered to actually start seeing what's going on. Now, the EU, to their credit, are actually trying their best. But they haven't got a clue what the UK is going to do, because the UK hasn't got a clue what it's going to do. We don't know what they're going to come up with next. All we know is that Chequers did not meet the certain standard that is required, and that certain standard is not something to be sniffed at. There are certain rules to joining any group, and human rights is a very, very good rule to have. But of course, Theresa May doesn't like the Human Rights Act. I know this because she said this, because her party keeps saying this. But no. Questioning her ability to lead, that's just an annoyance. Ignore over 160 people now living, over 160% increase in homelessness. Ignore the fact that women in their 50s might not actually have a pension. Ignore the fact that people in my generation might not have the option of retiring at all. Ignore the fact that social care and the NHS is being gutted, that house prices for the moment are unattainable to people just leaving school. Forget the fact that her and her buddies voted against restrictions for dodgy landlords to fully take advantage of people in a bad situation. Ignore all that, because it's an annoyance to Theresa May. Secondly, she came down a little bit harsh on Boris Johnson. Apparently this is all because of his comment about the UK wearing a suicide vest during the Brexit negotiations. Really? You didn't expect the man to say something like that? Are you that incompetent? Because anyone who's paid attention to Boris for the last couple of years would expect something like that. Seriously, anyone paying attention to Boris Johnson, what he said, what he's done in the last couple of years would expect it. But not you. Now there's only one of two possibilities here. Either it's a political move and you are forcing Johnson into the public light, into the spotlight, so that we can all see what a disgusting, incompetent buffoon this man is. Or you are so unbelievably inadequate at your job that you have no idea what the hell is going on in the real world. And to be honest, it could be either one of those. But hey, the full interview is meant to come out tomorrow on BBC's Panorama. I will definitely be watching that.